Right. Hey everyone, I think we're live. I just wanted to hop on a live stream and see how this goes here. So yeah, we'll see here. I didn't want to do any promotion for this stream. Hopefully this is public. I'm just gonna make sure here and confirm everything, get everything all set up. But I didn't want to do any like sort of promotion for this, just in case anything went wrong, because that's what happened the last time that I tried to do a stream on this channel. But I'm using this site called Melon. You can probably see the tag up in the corner here somewhere up there, powered by Melon. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. If this turns out well, if some of you guys show up, maybe make sure to type in the chat if you're here. I just want to switch to actually get ourselves a better thumbnail here. I've got a different computer off to the side. So give me 1 second here. But yeah, if anyone's shown up, type in the chat. Let me know you're here. And we're going to be going through some different comics news, maybe looking at some new releases, and we'll kind of play it by ear. I don't really have too much planned here, but there's a lot of news from Marvel Comics that's been coming around lately. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about right now. Let's see here. I just want to get this thumbnail changed really quick. Bear with me. If we're having any technical difficulties throughout the live stream, this is my first time doing this. So I'm just uploading a thumbnail for the stream. I made a quick one. Okay. That should be up. Now, all right. We have 4 people watching. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm not sure who's here. I want to open this on another tab here. Hello, guys. Thanks for showing up. Okay, cool. So I've got chat open on a different tab here. I think we're all set up. Hopefully the mic is working, but let me know if we're having any problems in the chat if you're here. And yeah, first time live streaming. We'll see how this goes. So I'm just waiting for a heads up here to make sure everything's all good. But yeah, so the idea here, I think I can share my screen and look at my different Chrome tabs that I have open. So I was thinking we could maybe just like go through some different comics news and look at what's been going on. A bunch of New York Comic Con news just came out. So Marvel released like a whole bunch of different announcements about different stuff during New York Comic Con. It's nothing that big, so I didn't really think it was worth like making a full video about or anything like that. And seemed like a good idea to do for our live stream. So let's just see if this works here. I'm gonna open up the Chrome tab. I think if I double click, yeah, so now you can see my stream. We don't want that, but hopefully my screen should be in the corner of the, like my face cam should be in the corner of the screen. And we're looking at news here. 5 people watching. Guys, thank you for showing up. I'm not sure who's here. Let me know you're here in the chat, but yeah. 6 people. Okay, I can't be looking at our number of people all day here, but I think this is working. I think we've got audio working. Let me just check on stream. Sorry for the hold up. I think we're good. So let's just jump right into this. We've got some people here. I want to retain you guys' attention here, and let's just get right into it. So basically, I had an idea. We could just look through some of the news. In case you guys aren't up to date on all of like the Marvel Comics news, that's probably mostly what we're going to be talking about. I've got like 9 different tabs or so open. And okay, cool. Everything's working well with the stream. Thanks for showing up, guys. Oh, hey, Comic Book Worm. How's it going? Okay, so now that we've got some people here, let's get started here. So basically, the biggest announcement that I think kind of went under the radar, I haven't seen too many people talking about this online, is that basically they announced like this lineup of different events that they're going to be doing. Marvel did at New York Comic Con, which I know I'm a little bit late to the game. You can see this was published in like October 8th. So it's been a little bit, but I still didn't see that many people that have heard about this. So I thought we could still go through it. They've got this brand new slate of like a bunch of events that are coming up. Most of these we already know a little bit about, but a couple of them are new. So I thought this might be worth talking about with you guys. So Avengers Assemble in November of 2022. We already know this is happening. We've already got like a few of the issues revealed, but basically, if any of you guys have been reading Jason Aaron's Avengers, I dropped it a little while back, but basically he's got like 2 different ongoing series right now. It's Avengers and Avengers Assemble, and he's like bringing them together so that they can have this big crossover, probably to end Jason Aaron's Avengers run, which has been going for a long time. I don't know. It's been like since 2018, I think. And I think maybe he's lost a lot of attention on that run. You don't hear too much about that comic book run being that popular anymore. we've got any new people showing up, make sure to type in the chat. Let me know you're here. I appreciate you guys stopping by. But yeah, so basically, we've got that Avengers Assemble event. If you guys are planning on getting that one, let me know. I'm not really sure what to do about that because I got like the majority of Jason Aaron's Avengers run, but then I dropped it because it was getting a little bit boring. They're really leaning into like the multiverse idea. Hey, what's up? We got another person in chat. Thank you guys for showing up. Yes, that's right, Comic Book Worm. Make sure to hit the like button, guys. It'll promote the stream a little bit more. Thank you guys for showing up. But yeah, so another event that we've got coming up is Dark Web. We know about this one. I've been getting kind of crazy views on those breaking news videos that I made about it. Let's pull that up. People are interested in Spider-Man stuff. I mean, that's really where the money is, I'm telling you guys. If you post any sort of like Spider-Man breaking news stuff as soon as it comes out, you're going to get a lot of views and probably a good amount of subscribers on it too. So if you're looking for a way to do that, just like keep up to date on marvel.com about Spider-Man news or post like Spider-Man reviews. By the way, guys, we just hit 400 subscribers in the channel. Now we're up to 403, which is awesome. I appreciate that milestone. Hey, we've got Callie and Jordan Squad in the chat. Hey, everybody. Hey, Otto. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah, those dark web videos. People are really interested in this event. 278 views. Sorry, I'm not trying to like showcase my channel or anything. And then the original like breaking of the news, a lot of people were interested in that too, even though I think those thumbnails are terrible, but they still got the job done. So let's go back to this tab. So yeah, Dark Web is coming out in December. They're doing like some kind of weird format where I think they're coming out with different one-shots that are just called like Dark Web Alpha and Omega or something like that. Congrats on 400. Thank you, Callie and Jordan Squad. Thanks for showing up, guys. We've got 6 people watching. I honestly had no idea like what the turnout was going to be here. So I appreciate any of you guys who are stopping by. But yeah, we're talking about Dark Web. So it's going to be, I think, like till December all the way to February, they're putting out this event. And it's going to have like tie-ins from the main Amazing Spider-Man series. So it's basically just a Spider-Man event in general. They're also doing like Venom tie-ins. And I haven't been picking up Venom. If you guys have been, let me know like what you're thinking of that book. It's like pretty deep into the series now. And Al Ewing and Ram V are writing that book, as a lot of you guys know. But like I don't know, it kind of lost a lot of the traction that Donny Cates' run had. Seems to be the general consensus, and I definitely agree with that. So it's tying in a dark web. Hopefully it's not like a central part of it, or else it might kind of throw off like my reading. But they also announced like some different dark web series that are spinning out of it. I think I've got it on a different tab here, if I can find it. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So this is another New York Comic Con announcement. But they announced like some of the stuff that's coming out of Dark Web. So we already have pretty much all the Dark Web announcements. If you guys want to know more about that event, like I said, I was just showing you those videos that I posted. We got 7 people watching. Thank you guys for showing up. J80 Hobbies, how's it going? Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Awesome. Okay, this is going great, guys. So, okay, cool. So yeah, so they're like spinning out, I guess, a couple different ongoing series apparently out of this whole Dark Web event. I don't know what you guys are thinking about this. They haven't given us that much information about the event in general. All we know is that Madeline Pryor, who's like an X-Men villain, I think a clone of Jean Grey. I'm not really up on my knowledge on that side of the Marvel universe, but she's going to somehow be part of it. And then Ben Reilly, Peter Parker's clone, whose name is now Chasm, is like also teaming up with her. Has something to do with the demons from Hell, from Limbo, being like the henchman of the whole event. So we'll see how that ends up. I mean, it's like the clones from the X-Men and Spider-Man teaming up. Sounds like a kind of interesting idea, but we'll see how they like follow through with it. Zeb Wells is the Amazing Spider-Man writer right now. So he's like coming on board Dark Web. He's writing that also. He's got his own little event happening. But honestly, I think my main thing with Dark Web right now, and I'm going to show you guys these like new ongoing series they're supposedly going to be putting out after Dark Web is over. My main problem is just that they shouldn't be like putting out an Amazing Spider-Man event so early, right? So like, I feel like it's way too early in the game. We've only had like 15 or 16 issues of Amazing Spider-Man solicited up to this point. Only like 11 have actually come out. And I don't really think it's worthy of having an event actually built up yet. They haven't been leading up to this event at all. And that's the main problem, I think, with main like Marvel Universe events these days, is that they just do like a worse and worse job of building up events. Like, if you guys can think of any other examples of good ones, let me know. But like, I can think of like King in Black, right, and Absolute Carnage. Those ones had a lot of lead up, and Donny Cates' Venom run. There's like a few years of lead up, and there's actually a reason for the events to happen. But this just seems like the type of thing where they had this idea that like the clones from X-Men, the clones from Spider-Man could both be evil and like team up against everyone else. Oh, hey, Jonathan Soko in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Says Marvel doesn't care. Events, anniversary issues, etc. That's the game. You're completely right. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, right? Basically, Marvel just likes to put out these events if like it's an ambitious storyline. And I feel like that's not really how they should go about it. I feel like we need lead up towards events, or else they're just not really worth putting out. And they're going to seem like cash grabs to everyone, which we all know Marvel doesn't have any like dignity or anything left in that regard. They're okay with scamming us in a way, right? I mean, we know what we're getting into. If we've been fans of comics for a while, we know we shouldn't be getting all the tie-ins. But for any newcomers, it is a little bit scamish. I don't know. Just my opinion. Let's hide this. I'm not sure if this is showing up on screen. But yeah, thank you guys, everyone, for showing up. We've got 9 people watching. If you haven't already, make sure to type in chat. Say hi to everyone. We've got a little community building up here. Almost 10 viewers, so this is great. But I did want to talk about these ongoing series that are launching like out of the aftermath of Dark Web. They haven't really said exactly when these are coming out. I think it might be in like February or March after Dark Web is out. But this first one here, Red Goblin #1. Do you guys remember Red Goblin? This was like that character from Dan Slott's last story arc of Spider-Man. I want to see if I can actually show the whole image here. Can I like, yeah, I can bring this down a little bit. So this is some great cover art by In-Hyuk Lee. But Red Goblin is basically Norman Osborn with the Carnage symbiote, one of like the coolest villain team-ups in my opinion. He had a really awesome design, and I think Marvel got rid of him a little bit too quickly, right? Because Dan Slott like didn't kill off the character, but he at least separated Green Goblin and Carnage from each other at the end of that arc. So it was pretty short-lived, right? That was a pretty fan favorite character though, so anything like that, Marvel's always going to bring back. It's been a few years, so kind of a weird time to bring this back here. We've got another person in the chat here. MP is watching from the UK. I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, so Red Goblin #1, let's see, it's coming out February 8th. Okay, there you go. So in February, it's written by Alex Packnadel. Art is by Jan Basil-Dua. Not too familiar with either of those guys, but we'll see what comes out of this. Do we have like a description for this? Because I feel like this is probably not Norman Osborn. Lately, in the Amazing Spider-Man ongoing by Zeb Wells, we've had like Norman Osborn taking a little bit of a better approach. He's been like cleansed of his sins, and things have been going a lot better for him, right? He's like rich again. He's brought back Oscorp. So I doubt it's just going to be him as Red Goblin again. That would kind of suck for his like character arc if he was just bad again. But let's see here. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling around here. I hope this is like a coherent stream here. Let me know if anything is going wrong tech-wise, guys. But I think we're all good here. But okay, so Red Goblin #1, an all-new symbiotic saga begins in Alec Packnadel and Jan Basil-Dua's Red Goblin. Let's zoom in on this. Spinning out of the pages of both Dark Web and Al Ewing, Rom V, and Brian Hitcher's Venom. Okay, it has something to do with Venom. This new ongoing series will see Normie Osborn receive his own symbiote at last. And as a new Red Goblin, will Normie fulfill his destiny as an Osborn, or will he and his symbiote be able to make a difference for the better? So, okay, it's Normie Osborn. If you guys aren't familiar, I think that's Norman Osborn's grandson, so Harry Osborn's son, right? We saw him get his own Carnage symbiote in that same Dan Slott arc where Red Goblin first appeared back in like 2017, I think it was. So they're really bringing this character at a weird time. And I guess Normie Osborn is getting his own symbiote somehow. Not sure how I personally feel about this. I think that I don't really care about Normie Osborn that much, and that's one of Marvel's biggest problems with like their Venom-esque titles, is just that they're like focusing on characters that not that many people care that much about. Like me personally, I know this is a controversial opinion. People talk about this in the comments all the time, but I just don't care about Dylan Brock. That's the reason that I dropped that Venom title, right? Dylan Brock is just not a very like moving character for me. I just feel like he's kind of a ripoff of Eddie Brock. He's just created so that they can have another Venom. There's not really any reason behind it. And that new Venom title is still just sharing the titles between those two characters anyway. They're both still there. Eddie Brock is as prominent as ever, but now he's the King in Black, and the whole Venom like franchise has been taken into space. Dylan Brock just seems to be an excuse so that they can like still have a Venom on Earth, which is always a good idea to have more of a grounded hero, but I don't really think they should have both going on at once, especially in the same title. Thanks for that, Jay. Jay said, agreed. So yeah, that might have been a little bit of a rant there, but the other ongoing, I'm not sure if this is ongoing, it might just be a mini series, but yeah, they've got another series that's launching out of Dark Web featuring this new villain called Hallows Eve. So this is Hallows Eve #1. It's written by Erica Schultz, and the art is by Michael Dowling. Okay, I'm not familiar with Erica Schultz, but Michael Dowling has done some Amazing Spider-Man stuff in the past for that whole Beyond era. He did some of those Ben Reilly issues, I'm fairly sure. And Erica Schultz is probably a newer writer to Marvel, at least, not sure about the comics industry. This character, I have no idea what her identity is. Let's see if we get a description here, though. Okay, making her devilish debut in Amazing Spider-Man #14, new villain Hallows Eve is set to play a major role in Dark Web. And as the event comes to a close, Spider-Man will discover this is one baddie that is sticking around. The newest addition to Spidey's unmatched Rogues Gallery will star in her very unlimited series this March by writer Erica Schultz and artist Michael Dowling. Stay tuned for more information. I mean, okay. It's always a good idea, I guess, for Marvel to just like try to put out new characters. Not really sure about just giving a new character their own series right away. This is probably just supposed to be the type of thing where they like say it's a mini series or they say it's a one shot or something like that. But then they end up, okay, Jonathan Soko said Hallows Eve is going to sell 13 copies. You're probably right. I'm going to be honest. Unless this character like makes big waves as soon as they debut and have like really good sales on that Amazing Spider-Man issue, I think it was #14. Yeah, debuting in #14 of Amazing Spider-Man. Then I feel like this isn't going to go anywhere, right? 13 copies, I don't know about that. They'll probably sell like at least a reasonable amount for the first issue, but I bet by that second issue, sales are going to drop. The main thing that I'm seeing here is just that her costume doesn't look that well designed. Kind of looks like they put it together in a few minutes. So unless this character is like actually already an existing character, like what if it was Betty Brant or something? That came off the top of my head and isn't based on anything. But what if it was an existing like Marvel Comics Spider-Man character? Then I feel like maybe they would actually get some sales on that, and it might, continue to stay steady. We'll see with this though. But also the biggest problem is just putting creators that aren't experienced on the book, right? Sometimes that can end up being a good move. I want to zoom out here so you guys can fully see this. But like putting inexperienced creators on a book is usually just a way to bring it down. Like that's the problem with Ms. Marvel comics recently. I haven't been reading them, but Ms. Marvel also has a Dark Web tie-in coming up. Yeah, here's the checklist if you guys want to see this. So not too big of an event. But yeah, Ms. Marvel has like a 2-issue tie-in series. And they keep on giving her little one-shots and mini-series and stuff. She hasn't had an ongoing in like, I want to say 2 years at this point. But they just keep on putting random creators on the series. Like, obviously, it's not going to do that well if you're putting totally random creators. Let's see here. We got some more people in the chat. The character looks good, maybe. I agree. Like, the character design doesn't look that good. I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like they kind of fumbled the bag on that. But it could end up still being an interesting character behind all that. Jonathan Soko says, March is an odd time to release a seemingly Halloween-themed book and character. Exactly. This is like the most Halloween-themed cover you could possibly have. We got Dracula on the stick up here. We got the devil. We have her like holding a literal pumpkin and like Spidey's mask at the bottom. A bunch of jack-o'-lanterns surrounding her. This is ridiculous. Why are they releasing this in March? It seems so weird. I'm going to be honest. I'm probably just not going to pick up this first issue unless her introduction seems really interesting, unless she has like an important role to play in Dark Web. Whoops. Okay. Unless she has like an important role to play in Dark Web, I feel like it's not worth picking this up. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we got for Dark Web. Like I said, we've got Venom tie-ins for this event. We've got Dark Web #1 Dusk and Dark Web #1 Dawn. Super weird numbering, so make sure you guys keep track of that if you are going to plan on picking up this event. As it stands right now, I'm only going to be getting the Dark Web main issue so I can actually, follow what's going on in the story. The Amazing Spider-Man tie-ins because I'm already grabbing that ongoing series. And maybe Mary Jane and Black Cat, because that Mary Jane and Black Cat one-shot that we had not a few years ago, like about a year ago, I want to say, that was part of that whole Beyond thing. That was pretty well done. I thought that was well written, and it's the same writer, Jed McKay, coming on for this. So they're like starting with tie-ins to Dark Web, and then it's gonna be a mini series after that. So like the first couple issues are gonna tie into Dark Web for this Mary Jane and Black Cat series, and then they're gonna stop after that. That's all I had to say about Dark Web, though. I thought it might be interesting to go over that. Not sure if you guys have already heard that news. Mary Jane and Black Cat looks interesting. That's a buy, says Jonathan. Definitely. I mean, like, Jed McKay knows those characters well. He's done a lot of Spider-Man work. So that's an example of like actually putting good creators on a title so that the title can be good. Plus, it's like based on a lot of character history. It's based on good sales from whatever that one shot was, right? And it makes sense to put it out, unlike Hallows Eve. But we'll see what comes out of those new characters. Normie Osborn with the symbiote, yeah. But circling all the way back to that checklist, 8 people watching, dang. Sorry, I know I'm harping on that, but that's cool. This is a lot of people in here. I wasn't expecting this many people to show up. I really didn't know what would happen here. But glad this stream is working out so far. Another event, though, going back to this event slate that we were starting with at the beginning of the stream, we've got Sins of Sinister starting in January of 2023. I'm not going to talk about this for too long because I don't actually get any X-Men titles right now, and this is an X-Men event. But let's see. They did announce a bunch of the tie-ins for this. Here it is. So, a twisted fate awaits mutant kind in Sins of Sinister, straight from the Marvel Comics Next Big Thing panel at New York Comic Con, which I guess is where they announced a whole bunch of the different announcements coming up. The next X-Men milestone event kicking off in January. Are you guys buying this? Let me know in the live comments right now if you're planning on picking up Sins of Sinister, or if you're even like buying any X-Men titles at all right now. To be honest, I just lost interest in the whole Krakoa thing. I think they've spent way too long on that, which we'll get to in a second because it seems like they might actually be wrapping it up. That was part of this this whole like events announcement. We've got like promotion art here though by Lanil Yu, a trailer. I don't think I should play this on stream because I'm not sure if the audio would do too well here. Okay, Jonathan in the chat. I'm waiting for the Hulk Krakoa era to end. Then I'll get into X-Men again. I'm just not a big fan of the status quo. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I just feel like the X-Men being on such a high horse, having so much and having built up their whole status quo over the last couple of years, like everything has been good for them. It doesn't really feel like we're earning anything. Like it's the polar opposite with Amazing Spider-Man, right? Peter is always down in the dumps. He's always getting beat up every single issue. Nothing good ever happens to him. That's like the main complaint with Spider-Man comics, as well as it just being kind of badly written over the last couple of years. But I feel like X-Men are just doing way too well right now. To be fair, though, Judgment Day has been pretty bad for the X-Men with what's happened. Oh, gosh. I didn't mean to play that. Okay, so... yeah, Judgment Day, they have taken some big losses. Like that whole Arakan Mars planet got kind of decimated by Uranos. I don't want to get too far into spoilers. If you guys haven't been getting Judgment Day, I do recommend picking that book up. But we'll see how they recover from Judgment Day. It seems like they're just still going to have Krakoa, the Quiet Council, the Resurrection Protocols, Mars, any other great things happening to the X-Men over the last few years. They've just taken such a big turn. And I think Jonathan Hickman leaving the X-Men like back in, was it 2021? I think it was at the end of 2021 that he left the X-Men titles. He wasn't the main writer of that anymore. I feel like that was when they should have stopped it, right? That was the reason he left, was because he felt like the X-Men had been doing too well for too long. Or I think I heard that maybe he wanted to propose that they would switch things up again. No one else agreed with him because the X-Men books had probably just been selling so well. But I think there's definitely some X-Men comics burnout going on across a lot of different like comics readers, right? Some people are still liking it, I've heard, but yeah. So Sins of Sinister #1. This is a little mini event that they're going to be doing starting in January. Kieran Gillen is also writing this. So they've still got him on board as pretty much the main X-Men writer at this point. He's writing Immortal X-Men, which I guess is pretty much the flagship title. And he's writing another event. He just wrapped up Judgment Day and they're giving him a mini event. What do you guys think of Kieran Gillen? Have you read like very much of his work? From what I have read, I haven't read any of like his independent stuff that people are always saying good things about. He wrote The Wicked and the Divine, I think. That's a series that you hear a lot of great things about. But his Marvel stuff that I've read, the Eternals run especially, is just really like hard to get through, a little bit boring. Like his concepts are on point. He has really interesting ideas, like how he made it so that the Eternals, whenever they're resurrected after they die, they kill a human on Earth and they have to inhabit their body, like they use their soul or something like that. But then the execution is just really weird. And that's kind of how I felt about Judgment Day. But overall, that event has been great. We've got Jonathan with another chat here. The X-Men have too many Deus Ex Machinas in their hands. I don't know exactly what that means, but they have no repercussions. Exactly. They don't really have any consequences for anything that they do. Even when there have been consequences, like in Ten of Swords, when they made it seem like the X-Men weren't going to be resurrected if they died as part of that whole like tournament that they had, that still didn't matter because like no one died in that event. And the couple of characters that did still ended up getting brought back in some way or form, even if it wasn't exactly how they started. And we know with Marvel that they'll end up, in their original costume and everything at some point anyway. But yeah, Sins of Sinister #1 is coming out. Let's see, January 25th. So they're kicking off like a little mini event. And it looks like they're doing this thing where they're launching a bunch of mini series that tie into it. So we've got Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1, written by Al Ewing with art by Paco Medina. If you guys are getting X-Men Red, I think this is going to be like a mini series that replaces it, or at least ties into it for a little bit until how long have we been streaming? Sorry, I just want to check. All right, like 25 minutes. So I think this is like tying into X-Men Red, or at least it's going to replace it for the entirety of this whole Sins of Sinister thing. And then we've got Nightcrawlers #1, crazy looking cover there. So that's probably going to replace Way of X. That's kind of Nightcrawler's like title right now. And look, yeah, we have the same writers for these series. Cy Spurrier, I'm pretty sure, writes Way of X. So this is probably going to like replace that. And then we've also got Immoral X-Men #1, replacement for Immortal X-Men #1. Or sorry, just like the Immortal X-Men ongoing series. So there you go, Sins of Sinister. We've got a checklist. Let's zoom in on this here. I don't know how many people are getting X-Men anymore. It really does feel like people are getting burnt out, and they've been going on way too long with this whole storyline. Okay, here we go. So those 3 miniseries that I was just showing, it looks like you have to get all of them. So Immortal X-Men #9 is a prelude. Immortal X-Men #10 is a prelude in January, and then Sins of Sinister #1 comes out. And then February, we've got those 3 miniseries starting that are like probably replacing some of the X-Men ongoing titles. March and April, and then it ends with Sins of Sinister Dominion. Okay, Jonathan, that means that they have plot devices that get them out of any problem. Exactly. X-Men can get out of any problem. Even if they shouldn't be able to get out of the problem based on the plot devices, Marvel usually still finds a way for them to get out of it. So I'm not sure about that. Sins of Sinister, though, is starting in January. If you guys are interested, hopefully you learned something there. Okay, so there we go. We've got a couple more events, though. I hope this isn't too boring or anything, guys. I just thought it might be interesting to go through comics news. Okay, J80 Hobby says, I'm a bit burnt out on X-Men. Exactly. I think we all are pretty burnt out on X-Men at this point. They've just been going on with the whole Krakoan era for too long, and they still have so many titles coming out. They have, I want to say, 6 or 7 different X-Men titles going on at whatever one time, and most of them aren't ongoing. Like, the only titles that have stuck around throughout this whole era over these last couple years are, like, Wolverine, I think, and X-Force. X-Men also got relaunched, so, like, even the main flagship title hasn't been sticking around as long as other ones. MP with a chat. I'm only reading Judgment Day at the moment, as I've only just gotten back into comics. It's a good comic to read, I'd say, if it's the only one you're reading. I'm thinking about getting into Amazing Spider-Man from issue number 14, or getting Dark Web #1. Thoughts? I think probably if you want to get into Dark Web, the best bet is getting ASM number 14 first. Let me look up the checklist here if we have it. Dark Web checklist. Marvel. I think probably your best bet is picking up ASM 14, to be honest, because that's the one that they're marketing as like the starting point, as the prelude that you should read. And it said it's going to introduce this Hallows Eve character. So that's probably the one that I'd recommend picking up. Do they really not have this online? Okay. Looks like Bleeding Cool has us covered. Yeah, because ASM number 14 is like reintroducing the whole Chasm character, Ben Reilly. And then that's going to be leading right into the Dark Web Alpha issue, which I think is Dark Web Dusk. Not completely sure on that, but I don't know why Amazing Spider-Man 14 isn't on the list, but it probably will be fairly important. It'll probably give you like, yeah, no problem. It'll probably give you a good intro into it. So there we go on Dark Web. There we go on Sins of Sinister. A couple more Marvel events. They're always pumping them out. It seems like Sins of Sinister isn't going to be that big a deal. If it is, I won't know because I'm not going to grab it. I don't get any X-Men titles. And we'll see how long it takes before X-Men, the X-Men fall, before Krakoa falls, which we'll just segue right into this. In summer of 2023, about a year from now, a little more than a year from now, no, less than a year from now, Fall of X is coming out. So let's see if we got a description for this. Fall of X. The X-Men hoped Krakoa would last forever. Time to find out if they were right. So we'll see what happens. Fall of X could actually finally be the X-Men getting rid of Krakoa, getting rid of Arakko and all that. If that is actually the case, I might have to pick that up. We'll see. But the Krakoan era, we've talked about this for a while at this point, so I'll stop. But the Krakoan era, I feel like has been going on way too long. So we'll see if Fall of X really is its ending point. We'll see if the X-Men get a new status quo. It's just going to be weird for them to like go down a step, right? That doesn't happen with characters too much. Like sometimes they'll go back to basics or whatever, or they'll market it that way at least. But I feel like they usually don't have like a whole team be on such a high pedestal where they're like the number one country in the world in terms of like finances, in terms of economy. They're selling these like pharmaceutical drugs to the entire world. They've got a whole planet terraformed. Like, what's going to happen to the X-Men? How far down are they going to go from where they are right now? They'll have to think of something really interesting. But we do have two other events here that they've announced. In summer of 2023, we've got Summer of Symbiotes. So let's read the description for this. Another symbiote event. We haven't had one since King in Black, so this could be exciting. Sun's out, tongues out. Spinning out of titles like Venom, Carnage, and Red Goblin comes a slew of new symbiotic stories. Get ready for the return of old faces, the debut of new symbiote heroes, and exciting shifts for iconic symbiote stars. It's a season of symbiote insanity. Jonathan says, let's take them all the way down. I agree. I mean, how far down though? Because like to the point where they're hated and feared by the world again, and there's always like those protests against them outside of the X-Mansion and stuff. Like, how far down do we want to go? I feel like they can't really just go back to the old status quo of X-Men, because it'd be, yep, hated and feared. That's when they are best. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm sure you've read a lot more X-Men comics than I have. I can't really speak too much on this because I haven't read any of like the older stuff. The most I've ever read of X-Men is really just the Krakoan era pretty much, and some of the stuff before then. So yeah, we want them to be hated and feared, I guess. That's a really negative way to look at it, but that's probably where the X-Men are best, so we'll see if they go back to that. Summer of Symbiotes, though, I guess this could be interesting. Red Goblin is officially a symbiote title, with Normie Osborn having the Carnage symbiote like we were just talking about, so that's tying in with Carnage and Venom. Hopefully Red Goblin is better and has strengths where Carnage and Venom have not been that good lately, because those titles have just, the general consensus I feel like has been that they've really fumbled the bag on those titles. I think Rom V just might not have been the greatest fit, to be honest, or he just doesn't have the best storyline ideas for either of those titles. I also tried Carnage, didn't really like it that much, but we've got Carnage becoming kind of like a god in the same way that Venom is, right? What do you guys think about that? Do you think Carnage should ever be such a big villain? Because he's been like going around and stealing other villains' powers. He got the powers of Hydro Man in the Spot, from what I've heard. Now he's going to what do you call it, Niflheim, like the equivalent of Hell in the World Tree, to hunt down Malekith and somehow get his powers. So the Carnage symbiote seriously making a name for himself. So that might be what this is leading up to in the whole Summer of Symbiotes event. That's about it, though. The only other event that they've announced on their slate here is Captain America Cold War. This announcement wasn't that exciting because they've already announced a bunch of these, but you know, these events could end up being something big. We never know. Honestly, out of these 6 that they've announced here, I think the one to keep your eye on the most is probably Dark Web. After that, I'd say Avengers Assemble. Not too many people have had their eye on Jason Aaron's Avengers run, right? It's lost a lot of traction. That's probably why it's wrapping up. But basically, if you're not aware of like what's had been going on in his run, I haven't gotten the last few issues, but from what was happening up to the point where I stopped, I think it was issue like 56 or something is where I stopped getting that title. 1 second. Jonathan says, I'm excited for Cold War because I'm actually enjoying both Cap books. That's cool. I haven't been grabbing either of those Captain America comics, but that's good to hear that you're enjoying them. So hopefully Cold War will be a good event that they're leading up to in both of those titles. But yeah, Avengers Assemble, basically, Mephisto is the main villain, Mephisto of the 616, but there's also this team called the Multiversal Masters of Evil, which is like the most powerful villains from every single universe. They've been going around to every universe in the multiverse, right? And going back to the beginning of time in each one. So it's like a mix between multiversal ideas and time travel, the same one. They've been going back to like 1 million BC to like destroy the original team of Avengers. And I guess it's going to be like every hero from every single universe teaming up against the biggest fight of their lives. It's like the most ambitious storyline you could have under Marvel Comics, and it's perfect for an Avengers title. So I think this might be a little bit under the radar for some people, but it could be a pretty big deal. I want to look up some of this promo art that they had for it that Brian Hitch did. Avengers Assemble. I'm terrible at typing. Avengers Assemble 2022. Let's see if we can get the art in here. Okay, yeah. Avengers Assemble sounds like a Justice League event, LOL. I guess so. I mean, yeah, the Avengers is the equivalent of the Justice League. So that makes sense. But yeah, Justice League does a lot of that multiversal stuff, right? That's what's going on in like Dark Crisis right now. I'm not up on my DC knowledge, but let's see here. So for nearly 5 years, the superstar writer Jason Aaron has penned an epic Avengers story across 60 issues with Avengers Assemble and Avengers of 1 million BC. So he's done a couple different titles that have led up to this. And Brian Hitch is coming on for this one shot that's starting it all. Here's the artwork here. Don't tell me that doesn't look cool. I mean, I think this could end up being a cool storyline. I dropped Avengers because I didn't really like the multiverse idea that they were going with so strongly, but it could pull through at the end. Jason Aaron is good with events. We know that from experience. War of the Realms was great. So this could be cool. Keep your eye out for Avengers Assemble. I'm just saying I might try this one out. Alpha #1 is coming out. Oh yeah, here's parts 2 and 3. But the first one, what's it called? Avengers Assemble Alpha is coming out on November 30th. So about a month from now, they're putting this out. So yeah, that's about it for those breaking news announcements from Marvel, though. JD Hobby says, looks cool. I agree. I feel like it could be cool. This Avengers Assemble event. And since so few people are actually getting the ongoing like Jason Aaron Avengers series, as far as I know at least, it could end up being a good event. And it might be like the type of thing that you could have like an insider view on, right? You could be like, you guys got to pick up Avengers Assemble. It's been a great series so far because not too many people are getting it. So we'll see if that has a kind of a cult following. We'll see how that turns out. But that's the whole like bracket that they came up with, these tentpole Marvel event titles. And yeah, no mega events, it's seeming like. Only smaller events like Dark Web, like Sins of Sinister that just have like 20 or so tie-ins, sometimes less than that. So no mega events as of where it is right now. We don't know how big Summer of Symbiotes, Captain America, Cold War, Fall of X are going to be, though. So more to come for those. That's all we have for now, though. Let's see what else I have in here. So there's just so many announcements from New York Comic Con. I just thought it'd be cool to like highlight a couple of them here. I just pretty much brought up everything that they had. Okay. So let's start here. They've got a new Silver Surfer series coming out called Silver Surfer Ghostlight. In Silver Surfer Ghostlight, John Jennings and Valentine Delandro will introduce a new Marvel superhero who has been in the making for 54 years. Okay, how does that work? Tony Brooks and her family have moved into the quiet town of Sweetwater, but nothing is quite what it seems with their new home. What mystery did Tony and her family unravel? What mystery did Tony and her family unravel that would call upon the Sentinel to space wave the Silver Surfer? And who or what is the Ghostlight? Is Tony the Ghostlight? Who knows? We've got a kind of cool looking cover here, though. I think this is Torrin Clark. Yep. So 5-issue miniseries bringing together this new character. Here's some design here by Valentine Delandro. This could be cool. Oh, hey, Radical Toys in here. Hey, Otto and everyone, you came live. Yes, guys, if you haven't subbed up to Radical Toys yet, I just want to give a quick shout out. He made our animated intro that I always use at the beginning of my new comic hauls. So if you haven't checked out his channel yet, make sure to do so. Thanks for stopping by, Radical Toys. But yeah, we're just talking about comics news, going through some of the New York Comic Con announcements about Marvel Comics right now. Silver Surfer Ghostlight. I mean, this character design looks kind of cool, I guess, but let's see. Oh, wow, they have like powers in the bottom left here. Nanite cloud form, combo of nanite gas and AI's consciousness linked to the portion of the power cosmic, can hold this form only with intense concentration. I don't know if you guys are interested in new characters, then this is probably for you. If you like Silver Surfer, it's not going to be that much of a spotlight on him. It's seeming like they're mostly giving this, they're mostly like putting out the series as a chance to debut this new character. Congrats on 400 subs. Thank you, Radical Toys. I'm really happy about that milestone. 500 is next, guys. We're at 403, so we'll see how quickly we can get there. Yeah, so that's about it for that. I don't really know if anyone has any opinions on this yet. It really seems like we don't have any information. But if you're interested in Silver Surfer, this might be for you. And they're debuting this new character, so we'll see what's up with that. We've got BPRD Comics in the chat. Hey, Yada, what's up, man? Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so next up, we're just going through some different comics news that came out of New York Comic Con. A little bit late to the game, but we're just going through some of it from Marvel Comics. If you're just showing up, we got 9 people watching. Thank you guys for showing up here. Radical Toy says, yeah, first 500 seems to be the hardest to reach, then smooth after that. Okay, that's good to know. Because you have like 600 or 700 subscribers now, right? So you've passed that milestone. That's cool. I mean, that's good to hear. I do feel like my subscriber growth hasn't ever been like too exponential. If you guys know what I mean. Like, it's usually pretty gradual. I've been really happy with like the growth of the channel so far, but seems like maybe it gets a little bit quicker after that. So good to know, Radical Toys. But yeah, next up here, you guys have probably already heard about this. If you picked up that free comic book day issue that came out back in August, they're doing this new Blade's Daughter series. So Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, returns a new series by Danny Lore and Kevin S. Darbo. I don't know about return. She only had like a few pages in a free comic book day issue. We got 10 people watching. Let's go. We passed the 10 people milestone. Thank you guys. Radical Toys says, going live helps a lot. Okay, that's good to know. Cool. Maybe you get some new subscribers off of going live. So yeah, I mean, I hope this live stream has been okay so far, guys. Just going through news seemed like a good idea. And maybe after we finish this, if we still have time, if you guys are sticking around, we could like look at some new releases. Why is the stream black? Okay, are we back? Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. F's in chat to pay respect. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, cool. We're back. Just found your channel. Can't wait to watch your content. Thank you so much, Harry. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by the live stream. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I think we're back. All right, we're good. Cool. A glass of water. I'm getting kind of hot here. The ring light is beating down on me. So we're going to talk about Blade's Daughter here in a second. So give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay, be right back. All right. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We're back. Okay, Radical Toy says, did you watch the new Werewolf by Night? Wasn't sure if that is a comic also or not. I figured you'd be the one to ask. Yes, that was a comic. I think as far as I know, I don't really know too much about this, but Werewolf by Night was like a popular comic back in the 70s, I think. Let's actually look this up. This is interesting. Marvel, let me make sure I'm sharing Chrome here. But as far as I know, Werewolf by Night hasn't been popular in a really long time. So that's why you haven't really seen too much of him in like modern Marvel comics in a while. MP says, I saw that on Disney Plus and wondered the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Radical Toy says it's a good watch. Definitely different. Different is good. I did watch it, by the way. I really liked it. Not sure about the whole Marvel Studios like special presentation idea. I feel like that's not the greatest like business strategy for them to just put out special presentations, but it's really worth the watch. It's well made. So what are we going to do here? I think maybe let's try. Okay, MP says cool. We'll check it out. I definitely recommend it. Let's look up like Werewolf by Night on Marvel because they have their usually catalogs of ongoing series, and they mostly put everything online. So let's see here. Okay, so Werewolf by Night. The crazy thing is that Marvel hasn't even done anything. Okay, yeah, 1972 to 1977. He had an ongoing series. Marvel hasn't even done anything really to coincide with this Werewolf by Night release is the crazy thing. You guys know how Marvel always likes to put out like new ongoing series that launch at the same time as new movies and stuff like that. But for Werewolf by Night, the only extent of what they've done from what I know is that they're putting out this Moon Knight annual as part of Jed McKay's run that's coming out like this month, probably for October, you know, Halloween, I'd assume. Happy Halloween, by the way, guys. But yeah, we've got 43 issues on Marvel Unlimited. I'm not sure if that's like the extent of the series. So I think this was a horror-themed character that was a lot more popular back in the 70s, but just hasn't been around for a really long time, or hasn't been a prominent character in a really long time. Hopefully that answers your question. Looks like they got the whole series on there, so that's cool. If you're interested in Werewolf by Night, it's on Marvel Unlimited, if you were wondering. We've got 9 likes on the live stream. That's awesome, guys. Thank you for hitting that like button. I think it does help with the streams. Radical Toy says, curious which software you choose for your live streams, Otto. So I use Melon. I don't know if you can see it in the corner here. Can I point at it? Yep. So Melon. I don't know. My cousin who has streamed on his YouTube channel before used it, and it went pretty well for him. I haven't actually paid for it or anything. You just get like a couple hours of live streaming per month, as far as I know. So if like this turns out well, if I want to live stream more, then I'll definitely pay for Melon. So yeah, Melon. That's a streaming service that I use. I expect you, Radical Toys, I expect you to be dressed up for Halloween next video. I don't know about that. I think I have some like costumes in my closet though. If I do want to, that's kind of a good idea. I don't know, because I do like to like decorate the set as much as I can. It's always the same old thing, right? So like I usually have the Thanos gauntlet in the corner here. I usually have the Deadpool head. Here he is. StreamYard is good. That's where, yeah, Comic Book Worm said StreamYard is good. That's true. I've heard good things about it. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs though. I want to make like a good investment if I do have to pay for some sort of streaming service. But yeah, I've usually got the Deadpool head, and I don't know if you guys have been around, how long you've been around in the channel, but last year I put like a Santa Claus hat on the Deadpool head. So it would be cool to do something like that for Halloween. I just haven't really thought of any ideas. Radical Toy says, I use ORISM, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, and OBS for my live geek news. That's cool. Comic Book Worm says, I am happy with StreamYard. Thanks for the tips here, guys. I might have to check out StreamYard because I know you can also like add other people to your call on that. Seems like StreamYard is generally a pretty good option. I've seen a lot of other people using that. By the way, if I'm looking off to the side, it's because I have chat open on a different device over here. And I am just streaming off of my computer, so I doubt that the quality is that good here. I can tell that it's like, I don't have too many like frames per second or anything when I shake my head. Radical Toy says, does Melon allow guests in the stream? I think it actually does. Let me switch to my stream here. Yeah, the infinite loop of videos. So there's a button in the corner that says guests, team. You can like invite people, but it does seem like StreamYard is the better option because it's like just a lot easier to let people in. Comic Worm says it's free, but ugly duck in the corner. Exactly. And it's free. Okay, I mean, that's good to know. Thank you for that. Okay, I might have to try that out. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm an amateur here. Thank you guys for giving me tips. I mean, yeah, Melon has the exact same ugly logo in the corner, though. The camera's like flipped, so if I move my hand one way, it moves the other way on stream. That's weird. Powered by Melon. I guess it's like the same ugly logo, right? I don't mind the duck or the melon that much. It is free advertising, but it's just because you're not paying for it, so it makes sense. I'll have to try StreamYard. Thank you, guys. MP says, gotta shoot now. Good stream, Otto. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. J80 Hobby says it all looks complicated to me. Yes, it is a little bit complicated, but you get used to it pretty quickly. So if you ever are thinking about streaming, Jay, I would recommend Melon, but it does seem like everyone else on here talking right now who's a lot more experienced uses StreamYard and OBS and other things. So maybe it's not the best choice. I don't know. It works well for me though. Comic Worm says you pay for removing the duck. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's the same type of thing for Melon. You pay to remove it with more features once you pay for it. Yeah. Okay, cool. I wonder how much that costs. I mean, like, you've got to get some good stuff out of it for it to be worth the investment. But also, like, is it worth it at all? If you're only doing live streams like once or twice a week, if this becomes a regular thing, I think that's like the longest I would end up doing it for. We've got 10 people watching, guys. Thank you for stopping by. JD Hobby says I'd only have one viewer. No way, you would have so many viewers, Jay. I honestly thought I would only have like one viewer based on like I used to like premiere videos sometimes and stuff, you know, where it's like a live thing and I wouldn't get anyone to show up and that would like discourage me. That's why it's taken me so long to stream. Also just because I've been a little bit nervous, but it's going pretty well. You should stream, Jay. That would actually be cool. I would definitely stop by. But yeah, so it's like $10 a month, I think, says Radical Toys, and we're talking about StreamYard. The appeal of StreamYard, I think, is just like adding people to your call so far. From what I've seen like other people, I think Main Event Comics was doing this, where they just like put the StreamYard link in the chat for anyone to just show up and like show off their comics. I really like the appeal of that. Just people like joining in and showing off whatever. I don't know, just like open to anyone, which also can be a really bad idea because anyone could show up and like get the stream demonetized or something. There's some pretty crazy people out there, some bots. Comic Book Worm says basic is $20 per month. Annually is cheaper. Okay, that's good to know. That might be something to invest in. Sorry, this is a little bit of a tangent here, guys. I know we've just been sitting here talking about streaming services, but that's the type of thing you do on your first live stream, right? I appreciate you guys giving me the advice there. So we talked about, where do we leave off here? Okay, let's get back to it. We were talking about comic book news. Comic Worm says, Otto, I want to invite you to our Meet the Collector series. Oh, sure. Yeah. I want to look into this, but I'm not sure if I've heard of this series. Meet the Collector. Hold on. Let's go to the Comic Book Worm YouTube channel to look into this. But Radical Toy says, yes, you can do many features with StreamYard, but my style is different since I use animation puppets. Wow, okay. I want to look into that too. A Comic Book Worm says, just my channel series. Oh, awesome. I would definitely like to come on board. Thanks for the invitation. We could definitely work that out. I do have my email, guys, if you ever want to like, you know, work out like a collaboration or anything like that. I know I'm still a small YouTuber, so I doubt anything like that is happening, but like, you can go to, oh gosh, I'm not sharing my screen like I thought I was. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there we go. So you can go to my About page if you want to reach out by email for anything, and click view email addresses, autotalksmarvel@gmail.com. I've got my own Gmail for the channel, so you're like welcome to email me if you want to for anything. That's how Radical Toys sent me the intro. So there's that, but let's check this out. So Comic Book Worm. Meet the Collector. That's awesome. So it's just like an interview series, I assume, like Brian LCS's 411, which I went on recently. Cool. Yeah, I would be really honored to come on board if you'd have me. But Comic Book Worm says, do you have Instagram? I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have Instagram. I know I probably should have it at this point. Radical Toy says, we got to go live sometime, Otto. I'd love to, Radical Toys, if you'd have me on your live stream or vice versa. That would be awesome. And Comic Worm says, yes, Radical Toys, we got to get you on Instagram. I know, I got to get on Instagram. I guess I should make like an Instagram page for my channel specifically. I don't really know what I would post on there, though. Just like new comic book day stuff, maybe. So I'm not sure exactly, but I guess Instagram is also just a good thing to have for the hobby in general. You know, just to just to know more people, to be able to reach out to more people, and even like buy and sell comics, which is something I might want to do at some point. Okay, so let's just finish off this news, guys. There's a couple more things to talk about, but thanks for those tips on live streaming and everything. J80 Hobby says you could post stuff you got coming up on your channel. That's true. I could do little like previews of videos and stuff. I think Instagram honestly would be a pretty good idea. And someone my age should probably have Instagram if we're being honest here. You hear about how people get so addicted to it and everything. That's the main reason why I don't have any social media in my personal life besides YouTube. But I think getting Instagram specifically for comics and just sticking to that would be really cool. Radical Toy says Instagram is great for advertising yourself. That's true. I think it could help me grow my channel if I got people from Instagram to YouTube, because you hear a lot about how Instagram's algorithm in general just makes it a lot easier to get followers and stuff. So if you can translate that audience to YouTube, it could be a pretty good idea there. Okay, so that was kind of a tangent, but let's get back to the news a little bit. There's just a couple more things I thought it'd be cool to talk about. If you guys are into that. But New York Comic Con 2022, we were just talking about Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. We've been streaming for like an hour, so I'm going to keep on going for now. There's still some people here in the chat. I appreciate you guys watching for so long. This is going a lot better than I thought I would, to be honest. So I'm really happy about the stream so far, guys. Thank you. But Bloodline, the Daughter of Blade, like I said, there's that free comic book day issue that they put out. Honestly, not the biggest fan of that like 3 or 4 page story they had. It's by this writer, Danny Lore, who recently came on to Marvel, who's been doing some recent stuff for Marvel, and Kevin S. Darbo. So let's read the description here if you guys haven't heard too much about this character. Introduced early this year in Free Comic Book Day Avengers / X-Men, that's right, the Daughter of Blade makes her long-awaited return in Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. So Brielle is a good kid. No matter what her teachers say, it's not her fault she's developing vampiric superpowers and the undead want to brawl. As if problems at school aren't enough, Bree's got a wild ride ahead of her. She's about to discover that she's the daughter of the infamous vampire hunter and daywalker known as Blade. I mean, that's true. Wait, sorry, I was reading a chat. I'm not talking about what I just read. That was weird. Radical Toys, back to the Instagram thing, says, yes, that's what I use it for. I keep personal life off there. That's great. I mean, I think that's what I want to do. That's the way to go about it with social media. So good for you for sticking to it like that. But yeah, Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. We've got artwork here, a weird like painted art style cover. If you guys are into Blade, this is for you. Blade has been a member of the Avengers recently, the original one. And he's recently been like the sheriff of Vampire County, and he's been looking over Dracula. I don't know too much about that. I think they've got like a one-shot coming up soon though that has to do with that. So if you're curious about Blade, there's a lot coming up for this character. And of course, there's also a movie, right? Isn't it? I think there's a movie. It's coming out in like a couple years, right? Blade movie. They like cast a main guy for it, an actor. Okay, that's not what we wanted. Blade movie MCU. You got to elaborate. With Mahershala Ali. Okay, so Blade movie is coming up. That's probably why they're putting out some more stuff. And this does seem like okay, yeah, Blade. Cool. So it's coming out in 2023, I think. That's what it says. This does seem like the type of thing where Blade isn't actually going anywhere. They're just going to have 2 different heroes functioning at the same time in the Marvel Universe. It's a story about this teenage girl named Brielle. Yeah, so, I mean, this actually could be cool now that I'm looking into it more. I feel like this could be cool. Radical Toy says, do you inventory your comics, Otto? I do inventory my comics. I sort them alphabetically. I might have to make like a little short or something about it sometime. But yeah, I just sort alphabetically. So, you know, A through Z and then numbers. And I just put all my comics in there. So like A is filled complete with Amazing Spider-Man because that series comes out with so many issues. Let's see. Radical Toy says, still waiting for live action Gwen Spider. Surprised they haven't done it yet. I think the reason they haven't done a Spider-Gwen live action series for the MCU or not for the MCU, or a Miles Morales movie, or just like getting Miles Morales in the MCU, is just because they've already put them in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, right? Like Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. They've caused a lot of trouble with it recently, with like the Morbius movie and all that, and all the memes around that, all the controversy around Morbius. But probably the reason that they're not like working out any deals to make any live action Spider-Gwen or live action Miles Morales movies, or even any Spider-Verse movies in general, is because they still have plans to keep on going with those animated ones. To be honest, I don't mind. I mean, that Into the Spider-Verse movie was like one of my favorite movies of all time. The animation style on that was just so well done and different than anything like anyone had seen before, right, in the animation industry. And they're coming out with a new one called Across the Spider-Verse, I think next year. So I mean, that's just my take, but it would be really cool at some point in the MCU or in some sort of superhero universe to see a live action Gwen movie, and hopefully also a live action Miles movie, because we still haven't gotten that. Okay. Radical Toy says, yeah, Spider-Verse is fantastic. I agree. Anyone who says it isn't is crazy. No. Okay. So Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. Not sure how I feel about this, but I might actually try it, because I feel like characters starting as teenagers, growing up into a superhero like Spider-Man is still always a good idea. And it could end up being pretty cool. JD Hobbies has his take in the chat. Nothing against Blade, but I will probably pass on Bloodline. So far, Cold War, which is the Captain America event, sounds like the most interesting to me out of the announcements. That's cool. I mean, I'm not too into Captain America, just like as a character in general, because I haven't gotten too many of his comics ever. But if you're into that character, if you're getting the Sentinel of Liberty and Symbol of Truth, I think I got those titles right there. Those two ongoing series that are following Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers, then Cold War's for you. I've actually heard great things about them, but I just didn't grab either of those series when they came out. Oops. This is getting kind of janky with the stream. So yeah, I don't have anything against Blade either. I think that he's a cool character. I just have never been that much of a fan. I don't know too much about his history or anything. So that's the reason why I'm probably going to skip on the Bloodline series. But, we can all appreciate Marvel trying out new characters. Even though it usually fails, even though sometimes it doesn't really go how they want and the characters are not liked by audiences, sometimes they do work out. Think about Riri Williams and Miles Morales, right? Both of those characters were both I guess controversial when they came out, but they've done so well since then, and they're pretty fan favorite characters now. They've both made it into big budget movies and stuff. So you never know if Bloodline is going to be the next one of those. I don't really think she is going to be, because Blade isn't that big of a character to begin with. So I feel like Bloodline is going to be having a movie or a show very far in the future if she ever does have one, especially because Blade, the movie coming out in 2023, is starring the original Blade, right? It's not like they're going to switch the character to Bloodline. So that's my take on that. We've got a couple more news things here, though, that I wanted to talk about from Marvel. Thanks for you guys' support on this stream so far. This has been awesome. So let's move my screen here. This is a short one. They don't have too much information for us on this yet, but they announced a new Guardians of the Galaxy series. So we've got a new movie coming out. Marvel Comics always putting out stuff that coincides with the movies, right? They're good about that. So it's been a while since we've had a Guardians of the Galaxy series. The last one ended with issue 18, I think it was, that Al Ewing was writing. So they're finally bringing it back. Guardians of the Galaxy coming in spring 2023, apparently. So this says, how do you rebuild a family? And it shows the Guardians of the Galaxy logo broken into 5 pieces. I saw something online saying that this might have something to do with a character death, maybe the death of Groot, because as you can see, it's like a wooden Guardians of the Galaxy logo. We don't have any info besides that. Just wanted to touch on that really quickly. Just 2 more things here that I wanted to go over in this stream, though. We had a Women of Marvel panel where they announced a bunch of new series, new things going on. So the first one here is Betsy Braddock, Captain Marvel, coming out of New York Comic Con. So this is one of those X-Men series. I guess she's getting her own solo title, which is cool, Betsy Braddock, Captain Marvel. But Teenie Howard is one of the writers for Marvel. She's been writing a few different series following this character under the X-Men comics, right? And this is seeming like it's kind of branching out of that finally, though. So originally we had Excalibur, it was called, that ran for a while. And then we recently had a mini-series called Knights of X. And now they're bringing it back into this new ongoing series Kind of seems like it's another one of the characters that they're like relaunching a bunch of times, trying to figure out a good home for, a way that they can sell this character well and get good sales on it. Let's see. Radical Toys says, I have a hard time deciding who my favorite Marvel character even is. Love the craziness of Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, and love the easy, simple, gentle Gwen Stacy. Okay. But who over it? Wait, but who over it is it's definitely Spider-Man's universe. Okay, so something from Spider-Man's universe is Radical Toys' favorite character. I would probably agree with that. My favorite character when I was a kid for like the longest time was Hulk. And I think that still kind of holds true. Like that Immortal Hulk run brought back my love for that character a lot. Did you guys read Immortal Hulk? If you haven't, I definitely do recommend it. It was like a 50-issue run by Al Ewing. Really well done in general. The artwork was awesome, and it took like a kind of a horror tone to the Hulk series. That series is probably what you should read if you read anything Hulk, in my opinion. But let's get back to the news here. Guys, put your favorite Marvel Comics characters in the chat, by the way. Let's see what you guys think. I'm curious. Who's your favorite Marvel Comics character in the whole Marvel universe? Put it in the chat. Let's see. Or like a top 3 if you don't have a favorite. But we'll get to those if you guys put them in. Let's get back to the news, though. So yeah, Betsy Braddock, Captain Marvel, launching her own series. It's written by Tini Howard, following up that Excalibur series. Art is by Vasco Georgiev. I've never heard of him, but okay, we got a few different answers in the chat here. Sorry, I want to go back to this. I'm curious what you guys think. Let's see here. Let's see. Can I full screen? Yep. Okay. A comic book worm. Thank you, by the way, for sticking around this long in the live stream. I appreciate it. Says Iron Man. Okay, that's cool. Chabochian. Sorry, I butchered your name, but thanks for showing up, by the way. I don't think I've seen you in the chat yet. Thank you. Says Deadpool. So yeah, definitely. Deadpool is an awesome character. And then we've got JD Hobbies, Venom, and Wolverine. Right, okay. Venom and Wolverine, I think, is like probably the coolest characters you could have as your favorite characters, because they both have such awesome designs. They're both like kind of evil-ish characters that have like really dark histories and are more like violent, I guess. Venom's just like designed, the way that he works and everything has always been cool to everyone, I would think. Deadpool is just great for like comic relief. He's like the best funny comic book character. By the way, there's a new Deadpool series launching, guys. I'm excited for it. Let me look this up. But yeah, Deadpool is getting his own like ongoing series again. And it's been a while. So since they had Comic Book Worm says Iron Man is the only feasible character that it can be. I mean, yeah, that's cool. Iron Man is definitely an interesting character. He's got like one of the longest running character histories at Marvel. He's not my favorite character. I don't really know why. I couldn't tell you guys why, but Iron Man has never really been that appealing of a character to me. I'm not sure what it is. Radical Toys just put his answer in the chat. X-Men. I love Jubilee. Sucker for bubbly females. Okay, there you go. So Jubilee from the X-Men is Radical Toys' favorite character. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting to have an X-Men character as your favorite character, right? Because it's a big team. There's been so many different X-Men characters. So to have one member be your favorite is interesting. You really have to narrow it down. It's a lot easier than just saying like Hulk or something, right? Who's had his own series for a long time. It's really rare for an X-Men title to have their own series. The only X-Men character that's like had his own ongoing series for the longest is probably Wolverine. But let's just finish this off here with the news. I know I keep on transitioning out of it and coming back, so I hope this isn't too like jarring. So the next series that they announced, speaking of X-Men characters, actually is a good segue. They've got a Rogan Gambit series starting up. So this is only a 5-issue series, but it's written by Stephanie Phillips, and the art is by Carlos Gomez. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Stephanie Phillips, let's get the full artwork in here. Stephanie Phillips is the one who's writing that Grimm series from Boom Studios, which is really good. That's like a really well-done series, in my opinion, that I do recommend. So Rogan Gambit, new X-Men series. If you're into X-Men, you want to get this. Another X-Men series, though, that I'm not sure if this one is set in the present day or if it's like kind of a backstory series. It's called X-23 Deadly Regenesis #1. Oh, Erica Schultz again. We were just talking about her a little while ago for that new Hallows Eve series. So new Marvel writer, guys. Should we look this up? Should we see who Erica Schultz is? I feel like this is worth looking into because sometimes I like to like look up writers before I read a new series to see what they've done before. Erica Schultz, writing this new X-23 series and also writing that new Hallows Eve series that we're pretty dubious about. Okay, JD Hobbies says Rogan Gambit, sweet. I agree. They had a series a while back called Mr. and Mrs. X right after they got married that I heard good things about. Comic Book Worm says, I do love how people draw Rogue. Cool. So maybe you guys will want to pick that one up. I'm not sure, though. I'm not really wanting to invest in anything X-Men right now. But Erica Schultz. So Erica Schultz is an American comic book writer, letterer, and editor. She's best known for writing the 2018 Daredevil annual. Okay, so she's best known for writing an annual a while back. So she's definitely on the smaller side, I guess, for comics writers. She hasn't done too much yet, so Marvel's putting a little bit more faith. That's cool. I do like when they try out new writers, so we'll see what happens with that. You might want to keep your eye out, I guess, for Erica Schultz titles, and we'll see about Hallows Eve. That's like the most dubious I've been about a title in a while, but there you go. That was all the things announced at the Women of Marvel panel. The last thing, I just saw this like the other day. I thought it might be a little bit interesting to check out. Marvel Comics to join next year's Disney 100 Years of Wonder celebration with variant covers starring Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and more. Disney's turning 100 years old. Who knew, right? So 100 years old, that's so long. So they're definitely going to do a lot of celebration stuff for their Disney 100. And we've got 3 different comic book covers here. We can full screen that they're doing to show this off. So an Avengers variant cover. This is for Amazing Spider-Man number 17. Why are they saying Avengers on a Spider-Man title? Beats me. But a Disney 100 variant. So it's like Disney characters in Marvel suits. There's only going to be 3, so this is probably going to be kind of a collector's item. I would keep you guys' eyes out for this, for these 3 covers, if you end up getting any of them once they come out. Let's see when these are actually going to be published, though. On full screen. I just thought this was interesting. I wanted to touch on it for a second. Okay, so the Amazing Spider-Man 17 one is an Avengers variant. It's coming out on January 11th, and then there's one February 8th, and then there's one on March 8th. And these are all issues of Amazing Spider-Man that they're doing the variants for. So there you go. I mean, these Disney 100 variants, I bet these are going to make a big boom in the comics industry. This really seems like the type of thing, especially since they're only putting out 3 of them. This seems like the type of thing that could end up being a collector's item. The type of thing that like sells for hundreds of dollars on eBay. We'll see how this ends up, though. Radical Toy says, interesting crossover. Reminds me when they did Final Fantasy and Disney crossover. I haven't heard of that. Final Fantasy is a video game, right? I'm not up on my knowledge, but yeah. So Disney 100 covers. Make sure to keep your eyes open for those. I feel like they might end up being a big deal. That's about it for the news, though, guys. That was all that I had planned for the stream. We're an hour and 12 minutes in, so I think maybe we'll wrap up soon, guys. Yeah. And guys, maybe we can get like some better quality on the stream next time. I really don't know how I could do that. I might have to buy some sort of camera at some point because the quality isn't looking that great. I mean, it's still fine. Like my audio is good. I've got my mic in here that I use for the video. So yeah, I've got that recording and hooked up. But yeah. Okay, Radical Toy says Kingdom Hearts, and yes, it's a game. So Kingdom Hearts crossover, let's look it up. Okay, so it's like within Final Fantasy that they did this. Kingdom Hearts is a series of action role-playing games developed and published by Square Enix, collaboration between Walt Disney Company and Square Enix. Okay. This looks fun, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Winnie the Pooh interacting with this character, I like it. So that's cool. Yes, and Disney. Okay, cool. Yeah. I doubt that Disney's doing any sort of collaboration with Marvel beyond just the variant covers. I don't really know what a Disney collaboration with Marvel would look like anyway, because they own the company. So we'll see. I mean, I bet, though, mark my words, those covers are going to be worth a lot of money. So hopefully you heard it here first. Hopefully I helped you guys out with some of that breaking news and you learned a little something. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have any ideas for like upcoming live streams, this went really well. So I think I do want to do this maybe next week. Seems like Sundays might be a good day for people. I'm not sure like what the best time frame is because I'm on the West Coast, so I know it's 3 hours later for you guys over in the East. I think there's a lot of people from the comics community that live out there, so it might be better to stream at a good time that works for you guys also. So maybe a little bit later in the or like earlier in the afternoon here, so that it works better for you. JD Hobby says this would be a great live segment for you to continue, bringing us new comics updates, just like Radical Toys brings us new toy updates. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad that you enjoyed this, and I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by for so long. A lot of you guys have been here for a while. We've been streaming for an hour and 14 minutes. Like sometimes we could do reviews of last week's comics, because by the weekend I've usually read all of the releases that I picked up, as opposed to like the new comics hauls that I usually do. I could also talk about the issues and review them live. And then also I was thinking I could do like comics trivia. Have you guys heard of Kahoot? Which is like what they use at school sometimes. It's like a trivia website. And there's some good stuff on there. I feel like it might be fun to go through comics trivia, help each other out in the chat and stuff. And I feel like that would be a little bit funner of a stream than some of the other ideas. But going through news worked pretty well. I thought that worked well, guys. We've got a few more people in the chat. Do you plan on doing more, says Radical Toys? I think I do. This was great. I hope to do another stream next week. Radical Toys says, I'm usually free if you ever want a guest to pop on with you. That would be awesome. That would be really fun. So maybe we can work that out for next week or a week after or something. If you want to pop on and figure out something for us to do, some like content for the stream, that'd be awesome. And then Radical Toys also says, yes, that's a good idea. Live comics updates. Definitely. I think there's not usually going to be as much news as there was this week. So since it was New York Comic Con, I thought that was just a good opportunity to use that stream idea. And yeah, so Radical Toys says, also, Otto, it's a good idea to have a few chat mods to keep the chat clean. I volunteer if you need me to. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think for now, it's probably not a problem, though, because I don't have that many people on the live stream. Like with the peak, I think was 11 viewers, which was awesome. But there's most likely not going to be too many people chatting anything inappropriate or anything like that that could get my stream taken down. And I think I am able to just monitor it like I have been off to the side. So we'll see how this works out. I do appreciate all of you guys for stopping by, though, for my first ever live stream. This went a lot better than I thought it would. We got a lot of people in here. And you guys showing the support to my channel like this, showing up for so long to this live stream, really makes me want to keep doing this. So I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by. And I think we're going to wrap up here. Let's just shout out a couple of the viewers who were here the longest. Thank you, Comic Book Worm. Thank you. He says, congrats, Otto, on the first live stream. Make sure to go subscribe to Comic Book Worm. Also, if you haven't already, a great member of the comic community. Radical Toys, again, for making the awesome intro and for sticking around in the live stream. J80 Hobbies, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. We're going to wrap up here. Who else? We got some, we got some good support on here. Thank you. Thank you, Radical Toys says, great, thanks for chatting with us. Yeah, so yeah, we're just going to wrap it up here for now. Maybe next week we'll do comics trivia. I honestly think that'd be pretty fun. And I really appreciate all of you guys for stopping by. We're going to wrap up here. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. Happy Halloween for October. Bye, guys. I'm going to end stream. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.